Hello, it's another Wednesday, which means it's time for me on your Talking Red screen. And today, I'm joined by, eventually, Mr. Rob Gutmann. Hello, Rob.
We've done this before once, didn't we?
We've done it a couple of times before.
Yeah.
The eventually was more reference to the fact that you were late.
Oh, fine. That's yes.
Yeah.
That's because I made no record of the fact that I was due to be on this show. That's where I fell down.
See, I thought it was because your whole world has changed, just like everyone else in this country's whole world has changed because of a football match that happened last evening.
Yes, I have a banging head to prove it. Yeah. I'm not sure I drunk more because it's England or just the way it worked out. It was very exciting. I mean, I know we have to sort of preface these things by sort of saying, get no to the naysayers, but it's been enjoyable watching England. Enjoying watching the process, and the further England go in the tournament, the more exciting it gets. And if they get as far as the semis and even the final, I think even the darkest hearts will be converted to the cause. It was, it was a bit, I don't know, where did you watch it? I watched it in a bar of mine, and it was a marvellous atmosphere.
It's kind of funny. I was all set to go around to a friend's house and watch it, and then it just so happened that another friend was coming around, and I love him, but I can't watch football with him. I just can't.
There are those people in your life, aren't there?
So it's funny you should mention about the watching of the game and the viewing and the view of England in general, because this is something that's caused a lot of debate, not just here, but in the wider spectrum, particularly in Liverpool, about should you support England, how much should you support England, how far is too far, and I genuinely, because that's what it feels like,
what
isn't
level
it?
of intimacy you're allowed over England.
And there seems to be two main schools of thought here. One is the fact that there are lots of people for whom England doing well would make them happy, who we don't like particularly. That's one section of
people who are very happy about it. Yeah, they seem
And we can't do anything about that. We really can't do anything about that. The other section is the investing of time, effort, and love only to see it dashed away again and again. And with this one, obviously England won a penalty shootout, which hasn't happened in.
Well, do you know what?
20 years?
I thought it never happened, but it does happen in Euro '96, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Against Spain in, is it the round of 16 or the quarters? Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's interesting, though, that a nation's consciousness has eliminated that. Nobody actually remembered it in terms of, it just shows we remember the shit stuff.
We do remember the shit stuff.
Something about
very
the human
well.
condition, doesn't it?
But anyway, the point that I'm trying to make for this one is that all of the normal metrics by which England normally fail, they passed them today in this game just gone. Because if you think about it, we conceded a late equaliser, that's normally bad. We were in a game with lots of niggly fouls and lots of yellow cards and the opponent trying to bait us. And then when you think about the beginning of extra time and that long period where England couldn't string two passes together and they looked out on their feet, and then you get to the penalties. And for the fact that they were able to clear all four of those hurdles in one game is kind of remarkable.
I think we were peak tabloid England today because we showed bottle, right? We won a penalty shootout, and our opponent, the Johnny Foreigner role in this case, was perfectly fulfilled by Colombia, who couldn't do more for the xenophobes, for the bias confirmation. They were borderline cartoon evil baddies, weren't they? Thank you, Colombia, for that gift to a mildly right-wing nation.
Mildly?
Yeah, I'm just talking a broad average.
Yeah, okay. We won't dip into that one right now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the fact of the matter remains is that England are now going through to the quarterfinals, and from an LFC perspective, because, we should probably bring it around to that, our man Jordan Henderson had quite the eventful game, I think it's fair to say. As most people realise straight off the bat, he did miss his penalty. He was the only one who did miss the penalty. I thought it was a well-taken penalty, if slightly telegraphed. And I don't know if anyone saw his interview after the game where he was talking about, and you could just tell from the relief that was running through him, because he had thought on the walk back from missing the penalty about all the things that they were obviously trying not to think about in terms of the reaction back home, the reaction of his family, friends and what have you. And the fact that he was so open and able to admit that that's what he was thinking about, I think is part of this new regime where they're confronting the fear. They're not running away from the things that might be scary. They're stepping up to it. They're saying, well, we're not going to not talk about penalties. We're not going to not practice penalties. Actually, we think that they're important, so we're going to put loads of time and effort into them. And you saw the evidence of that, because, I mean, yes, he did miss his, but the other four, well, three of the other four, looked superb, and they looked like people who knew exactly what they were going to do before they even started walking.
Yeah, I think he's a bit unlucky in that I think the winning penalty is not as good as the missing penalty. Jordan's very fair. He says the penalty was decent, but it was a good height for a keeper.
Yeah.
It's as good a missed penalty as you're going to see, if there's any consolation, Jordan. And we can all be magnanimous now. Now it's all right. Yeah, the psychology behind it does fascinate me. There's talk of Southgate having told the players to own the process. I think I know what that means. It did require sort of a psychological reboot for England. It couldn't just be. I think it had to be more than just take them after training, boys.
Yeah.
I think they had to take. There's just negative associations with penalties, and I think he probably had to instill positive associations, which is, do you know what? You've got a chance to win this. Go and be good at penalties and win it. Don't fear it. And I think that's what came through. Of course. There's every probability that they get to make all of this sound feel very, very stupid, because Sweden's going to be the same game, only maybe with marginally less violence, and it will end in penalties.
I mean, I think there will be probably a similar level of violence. It's just going to be more upfront violence. I mean, the Swedes don't have a reputation for trying to do what we like to call the dark arts. And after seeing Jordan Henderson's performance in that game, I don't think we're really good at it either. I mean, every time England try to accentuate something or try to gain an advantage, as they like to call it, it just looks really bad. And I'm still of the belief that they don't 100% believe in it. I think it's kind of almost like a half-assed, well, if you can't beat them, join them type deal. Like, we don't want to get beaten by that, so we might as well get our own in. But it didn't look right.
He had a very, very good game, I thought, Jordan. I've had friends from around the country who don't support Liverpool messaging me almost like, well done, your boy. Because, he did do well. I didn't want to say to them, Jesus Christ, he hasn't even convinced half our supporter base that you lot can see it. It feels to me like he's gone up a level in a certain sense in this tournament. His energy levels seem higher. Maybe we underestimate just what the injury took out of him.
I think so. I think also he looks like, and they all look like, they're confident in what they're doing. You can see that they've got a plan. And even last night, in the periods of the game where it was slow, maybe Colombia had more of the ball, they looked like they were taking over. Whenever England got the ball and they were trying to go forward, you could see what they were trying to do. You could see they had a plan. And at times of stress, then having that to fall back on is a big comfort. And like I say, I genuinely think that Jordan Henderson looks more comfortable as an England player at this tournament than he has in his England career to date. And that is what I put his improvement down to.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. I mean, he is the captain in all but name, isn't he, on the pitch at the moment? I thought the defensive side of the team was stronger last night. I thought Kyle Walker was immaculate. I thought he was very...
Except that one moment where he nearly gave him a goal.
Yeah, apart from that one moment. but that is a defender's lot, you know.
It's true. It's true.
I've got mixed feelings about Harry Maguire, but I kind of like his personality as a centre half. I think he wants to be dominant. He's not far off Degsy in a way.
I mean, I like him. I think that he's got a bit more. It's very similar attitude-wise to Degsy, I'll give you that much. I just think...
He's a front foot defender as well.
Yeah, and the difference between the two of them that I see is that Maguire is the kind of passer that Lovren thinks he is, but isn't quite.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about Harry Maguire, actually, because we're going to be talking about transfers, since we've got you here, we might as well. There's been a new report that's come out today in the Mirror linking us with Colombian defender Yerry Mina. He's the one who scored the goal. He's got 3 goals in this tournament.
That's mad, isn't it?
He's very dominant in the air. And a lot of the time in the pre-game for this England match, there was lots of people talking about England's dominance of set pieces and their advantage of set pieces. But they hadn't realised that this guy has already scored a couple himself. And he towers over everybody in that England team. And even when England were trying to do their attacking moves, he was always the one that seemed to be in the way, getting there before Maguire, blocking him off and stopping. And that was the reason why England didn't get much joy in that.
Why is he not getting a game at Barca? Interview here for a moment.
Well, I would say there's 2 reasons for that. One, the couple of games he did have for Barca didn't go well. I mean, he's one of those players that when he looks bad, he looks really bad. I mean, agility is not really his strong suit, so if he's up against a kind of a fast, quick guy, they can stand to make him look a little bit stupid. Plus, you've got to think about the fact that Gerard Piqué is a stalwart of Barcelona. He's always going to earn his place. Titi has grown over the course of the last 2 seasons, and he's now the main go-to guy. And it's not an area that they look to rotate massively.
True, yeah.
But the reports go that Liverpool are now interested in him and bringing him in. It's a little bit regarding Barcelona's policy. Well, it's not their policy, it's the La Liga policy of you only allow 3 non-EU players in your squad. And Barcelona already have 3.
And the entire squad are on the pitch at any one time?
In the squad.
Right.
And in the squad, they've got Coutinho, they've got Paulinho, and Yerry Mina makes 3. Now, there's a lot of talk of Coutinho becoming a Portuguese citizen through his wife in order to kind of circumnavigate that rule.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means that he wouldn't be able to play for Brazil. I assume not. But anyway.
Why could he not still play for Brazil?
Well, I mean, it just seems a little bit strange if they're trying to say, oh yeah, well, he doesn't count as a non-EU player because he's Portuguese, but then he's still going out playing for Brazil. Is that not just making the mockery of the rule?
It's old. I mean, yeah, but your nan, as I said to you before, could have played for China, and you don't have to be a Chinese citizen, and you can still turn out for the Chinese national side. I don't know, man.
It's a murky area, we'll put it that way. Yeah. But anyway, the fallout from that murkiness is that Barcelona may be interested in a deal. After his performances in the World Cup, the price will certainly be going up. But based on what you've seen of him in this World Cup and what you know and see of Maguire, of the 2 of them, who would you be more interested in getting?
That's a toughie, that, actually.
I thought so.
I mean, I like 3 goals in 3 games. That's the kind of numbers you want from a centre-half. I suppose if you made me pick here and now, I'd choose Harry Maguire because he's a bit more of a devil, I know. And, you know, he's Premiership ready and fresh. I'm guessing he's a bit younger than Mina, or am I wrong about that?
No, Mina's 23.
Oh, really?
I think Harry Maguire's 24 now.
So that's entirely wrong on my part. But it doesn't change my doesn't change my view. Just move this along, will you? No, it doesn't change my view. I like Harry Maguire. I thought he has his moments. But if you ask me to choose between them, yes, him. But you know what, Mina, I'll go for Mina all day long. We need another centre-half.
Yes.
And not because I think Lovren needs to go. I think at his best, Lovren's really good. He's becoming more consistent. But he doesn't like to repeat games, let's be honest about it.
Well, I'd be interested to see how he progresses through the tournament because I don't think he had his greatest game against Denmark, but they didn't really cause them a lot of problems defensively. You wonder whether or not Russia would do the same. They've got Zuba up there, who's a bit more of a battering ram, and then they've got the likes of Cheryshev deeper, who's going to be making runs, and maybe it's going to test him. I don't know.
I saw him against Brazil in the warm-up game that was at Anfield a few weeks ago. He was really good, Degsy, in that. He's fine. I remember reading about what kind of a player he was when he was linked to us from Southampton originally. And it's always a good barometer of a player. Actually, read the forums of the fans of the clubs.
Yes.
So it's often a journey, but I remember a lot of them saying he's really, really good, but he can go off the boil, and when he goes off the boil, he's unrecognisable. And I think that's the experience we've had. And the key is, so it's clearly in his mind. The key is the good Dejan Lovren maintaining that mentality. I said my only real reservation with in these days is there is a degree of injury proneness, although he seemed to keep it together the latter part of last season. Maybe that's.
I think that's what's going to be the reason if Klopp does go into the market for another centre-half, is the fact that he clearly likes Lovren as a player. He just can't quite rely on him yet. And when you couple that with Matip's injury record, the fact that the 2 of them are both unreliable, you kind of need that stability to be able to say, look, okay, if all else fails, we've got this guy and we've got this guy, and if it gets tough and we need to be in the business end of the season and we need to know who we've got, if we can't rely on these guys, and it's been the case now with both of them for nearly, 2 seasons at least, maybe even longer with Dejan Lovren, it gets to the point where if I can't make plans, and we know how meticulously Klopp makes his plans, if I can't make plans for the tactics for a semi-final or quarter-final and know that I'm going to have him, then it gets to the point where it's like, well, maybe I need to look at someone else who I can rely
I also don't entirely buy into the view that Klopp thinks Lovren is an ideal at any rate, because let's remember before his injury, Matip was his first pick ahead of Lovren in a number of occasions where it was a straight fight between the two. Mm-hmm. I think in an ideal world he'd like two Virgil van Dijks, quite frankly, and who wouldn't? So let's not. I don't think we should delude ourselves that Lovren necessarily represents the zenith of the partner quality that we need for Virgil van Dijk. I think Klopp does rate him. I think he did rate Matip slightly ahead of him. I wonder if he still does now, because I think Lovren stepped up quite a lot last season in the second part. But we'll see. I think it's going to be healthy if they bring another guy in this competition regardless.
Definitely. I think if Klopp's taking the temperature of the fans, then I would say that that's definitely been a change over the last season or so, in as much as I say that Lovren has probably come ahead of Matip in most people's minds now, which, if we were sitting here talking a year ago, would have seemed crazy. Yeah.
And there's also another thing we seem to have forgotten about, is the Joe Gomez factor.
Yes.
Joe was definitely being groomed for that prime centre-back role, wasn't he? I think Klopp felt he had a trajectory that was and a ceiling that was potentially higher than the rest of them, the secondary centre-halves. He's been slightly tarnished, his reputation, Joe Gomez, slightly unfairly, because he plays through a pain barrier and then gets a really, really bad injury. So Joe Gomez has made a sterner stuff, I think, mentally than people realise. He had an ACL when Klopp came in. He came back from a difficult 6 to 8 months playing under-23 football, where people were beginning to say, hang on, he doesn't even look comfortable at this level. Will he ever be comfortable at the highest level? But he did. He got better and better and better. He was people also forget he was broadly keeping Trent out of the team.
He was.
And he was the guy who more trusted.
He was the one who was getting the England games before Trent was.
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
I think he would have probably made the World Cup squad if he hadn't got his injury late on in the season as well.
Was it against Brazil? He plays in a back three in a friendly.
Yes, he does.
Excels.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we'll see.
We will see. I think that this is going to be one of the things that people are looking forward to seeing Liverpool back in action in the pre-season for. That's coming this weekend. It's crazy to think about it, isn't it?
About this. So I'm actually traumatized. You know about the kick-off dilemma thing?
Yes, because now, obviously, for those of you who don't know, the England game against Sweden in the quarterfinals and Liverpool's first pre-season of the season at Chester both kick off at 3 o'clock on Saturday. So it's going to be a lot of...
What's up with that?
I mean, there's going to be a lot of 2 screenings going on. There's certainly going to be 2 screens going on in my house, I'm sure.
I had the perfect away day in Chester planned. I was going to arrive 11 in the morning, me and Gravesy, Steve Graves. We were going to hit the lovely picturesque Chester pubs. We were going to hit the ground, and then we found out that this England thing was going on. And we debated it last night. We had a little council meeting. Me, him, actually Paul Senior we talked to as well, and my 2 boys. And my youngest actually just called it. Rafi went, England in the quarterfinals. We're watching that, Dad. He said, it's a fucking pre-season friendly. And he used that language as well.
He wanted to show how important it was.
He's a sophisticated 9-year-old. He knows not to do that in school. But, yeah, and I thought, yeah, he's right. Because as much as I'm dying to see Naby Keita make his debut, and I'm dying to see Fabinho as well, 2 lots of 45 minutes with a mixture of under-23 players divvying around in Chester to no atmosphere in a not real football match. It's not quite the same as a World Cup quarter-final.
All I will say is this. For those of you who have access to LSC TV, easy for me to say, or LSC TV Go, or any of those things, they will be showing the whole of the Chester game at a later date. So if you're one of those people who wants to watch them both, it will definitely be easy to watch them both at a later date.
Well, not live, obviously.
No, not live. But then when you take it to the next level, which of those 2 games are you expecting something to happen so seismic that you have to watch it there and then, and you won't be able to wait?
I know. There's no compelling live event that's going to happen.
I mean,
apart from Naby bangs one in from 30
I was just going to say, what if that happens? What if that happens? I mean, do you remember? I think it was Benteke who scored an absolute belter in one of his early pre-season games.
I was at Swindon. And do you know who made his debut that day as well for Liverpool? A 16-year-old called Trent Alexander-Arnold. Wow. And I was there, and Benteke scored an absolute worldie, and I think I might have been taking a leak downstairs with him.
So you didn't even see it?
No. But I saw it on my phone seconds later. So I feel like I saw it.
Well, that is...
I was there to smell
But that proves my point, though, doesn't it? Is that... I mean, you were so happy with that when you thought of it as well, weren't you?
Yeah. As I said,
Oh, well.
it was a big night last night.
So yeah, it was a big night last night. Liverpool backing action this weekend, so that's going to be a big deal. And obviously, the two of us at least hope England do well at the same time. As for today, we've got some shows that we're going to be recording right behind you. In fact, I've just been signed on to complete the hat trick, so I will be on everything that you see coming out from the Anfield Wrap today.
How are you?
Yeah.
Oh, when I asked you to be on the gutter show, I didn't realise you were doing everything.
Oh no, but that's only 3 shows though, so it's still kind of like
That does me in. Back to back 3 shows. Jeez.
you're not
I need
got the stamina.
I've got stamina. I'm talking absolute shite by the 3rd one. Anyway, £5 a month.
He's only on the second one, so that's all right. The second one that's the gutter show, in which we're going to be doing a little bit more of a deep dive on the whole Mina business, as well as some whatever else Rob can rustle up from the transfer.
Fakir Watch is a regular feature.
Oh,
of the
yeah.
gutter show
Well,
that
there's
people
been-
around the nation are beginning to clamour to catch up with.
Well, there's been news.
Clamour.
Did you hear his little brother signed for Leon? They signed
Yeah,
him
I
again.
know people thought it was hilarious, didn't they, on the internet yesterday, to go, Fakir signs new contract, and actually it was like his 12-year-old brother or something. Or maybe he had a bit
He's a
older.
bit older than 12, but yeah.
Yassin Fakir.
Yes.
Good luck,
So we'll
Yassin.
be discussing that in more detail, and then after that, it's a brand new World Cup show where we're going to be dissecting where we are now, looking forward to the quarterfinals, looking back to the last 16. I think that's going to be myself. I think Mel's going to be on that show, Paul Senior. So it's going to be a good laugh. Gibbo's already told us that it's basically just going to be about how much it's coming home, to what degree it's coming home. So yeah.
And what is actually coming home?
Well, this is it.
People are debating this across the nation. Is it the tournament that's coming home? Is it football itself? Is it the trophy? Does it matter? No, it doesn't.
No.
It's just a song. Get over yourselves.
It's a song that's made 2 guys very, very rich over the last 24 hours. And it's probably given a lot of people some enjoyment, so we can't really argue with that.
We're all about the love, aren't we?
We are all about the love. And in that theme, I think it's probably time for us to wrap it up now.
I think we better had.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've probably run over a little bit too long.
Can I do some Eric Morecambe with my glasses?
Oh my God. So Shambles here today. Don't worry, Robbo will be back and he'll be talking all about Liverpool tomorrow. So up the roads.